Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Crypto Morning Coffee. Today we have very important news here coming because the SEC is going completely out of control. Gary Gensler is going after everything, filing big lawsuits all of a sudden after stalling for 2 to 3 years with regards to Binance, with regards to the SEC. But the market doesn't care anymore. We have not seen a 20-30% Bitcoin dump. In fact, we have seen a rally after the first little shock. And also, we're going to talk about Veve, teasing the Apple glasses, what that means or what that doesn't mean. And we are looking at some of the things that Veve also is posting about drops. Overall, it's going to be very interesting. So if you're seeing this later or if you're watching now, smash up the like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. I also want to quickly thank my rare hodlers, my Patreons, my channel members for always supporting me here on this journey. And guys, keep in mind that I am a crypto and NFT investor and not a financial advisor. So please do your own research before you ape full degen into each and every of these altcoins out there. If you ape full degen into XRP, Bitcoin, or the Veve collectibles. And now with that out of the way, let's jump right in. Let's get right started. Make sure to check out the videos on my channel as well. As you can see here, there is the VeChain video that I have uploaded yesterday because VeChain has formed a big partnership there, but that all in that video. Now, let's see what is new here, because yesterday we have seen that many of the altcoins that we know just too well have been labeled by the SEC in a draft. It's not a juristic decision or anything. It's not a decision by court, but they have named a lot of the altcoins securities, as we have discussed in yesterday's live stream. Now, the SEC asks for emergency order to freeze Binance US assets anywhere in the world. So the SEC is behaving, and we will see this in a couple of seconds in videos directly where Gary Gensler is speaking, like if they were the world order or something like that. If they could reach outside of the US, even though they have already limited power within the US, as it seems, but the SEC is really talking as if it was, or as if they have the power to shut down everything worldwide. So they are asking for freezing the Binance asset. So as we can see here, they want to force the reparation of fiat currency and crypto assets deposited, held, traded and or accrued by customers on the Binance US crypto asset trading platform. And now they are asking the judge to freeze the assets of Binance US platform and repatriate both fiat currency and crypto held by the service's customers. The freezing order only applies to Binance's 2 US holding companies, not to the non-US regulated international exchange, because they have no jurisdiction there, as I said before. The order would apply to dozens of accounts held to Axos Bank, the defunct Silvergate Bank, so they could freeze the assets of that bank that imploded before, Prime Trust and other institutions. So overall, the SEC is going completely degen mode at the moment. 2 foreign entities also controlled by CZ, by Sigma Chain and Merit Peak, served as conduits for billions of dollars of customer money that was improperly commingled with Binance's funds. That is what the SEC alleges. Nothing of what the SEC writes or says is in any way law. That is what they failed to do in the last years. Smarty Pants, good morning to you. Let's go Guys, 5 people here already. Smash the like button. I know it's early. I hope you have your coffee locked and loaded. Let's take a sip together. And, oops, sorry about that. The SEC has, so this is also, here is called a restraining order. So just another article that outlines this a little bit. So basically the same, not going to dive too deep into this one, because actually when I pulled this up, I have found some other very interesting stuff. So the Binance US affiliate is hit by a net outflows of 1.43 billion since the SEC lawsuit. And the reason for this is most likely the same as what happened with Bittrex US, because the SEC went after Bittrex US, and then they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy right in the process. So obviously the people on these platforms are afraid. Whoever has money on Binance US is right now afraid that the same thing could in any way happen, although Binance is very liquid in my opinion. But yeah, that is happening. Orchard Gaming, thank you for the coffee, so to say. Not bringing the fire, but the coffee. So yeah, let's drink that one together here. $4.99 donation. Thank you so much for your support here, for the daily crypto morning coffee. Guys, if you are not familiar, I do this hopefully almost every morning. So every morning we are going online and we are seeing where we are at with crypto and with the charts and with everything else, and also in the later part of the stream with Ecomi and Veve. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, investors have pulled out 1.43 billion. Net outflow of 70.8 million was from, so the full number is from Binance, and 70.8 million is from Binance US. But Binance US is also way smaller. So that is a thing that is happening. So right now, if these are only allegations, Gary Gensler is harming the exchange. Also the US affiliate which only exists because of these regulatory, or the failing of the regulatory framework. Then, also very important, it's not the only one that is being sued, because the SEC also sues Coinbase over exchange and staking programs. Stock drops 12%. So as we see here, this is very interesting, and we will see this in the videos and in the tweets that I have pulled up for that in just 2 to 3 minutes as well. But let's look at this. So Gary Gensler says these trading platforms, they call themselves exchanges, are commingling a number of functions. So very specific, like Gary Gensler as always. We don't see the New York Stock Exchange operating a hedge fund, Gensler continues. So he's making the claims that basically there is two specific actions going on as an exchange, and yeah, they want to have these operations ceased, because staking pools and liquidity pools and everything directly run by Coinbase. So Coinbase prime brokerage, exchange and staking programs violate securities laws, the regulator alleges in his complaint. The company has for years defied the regulatory structures and evaded the disclosure requirements. The SEC has alleged at least 13 crypto assets available to Coinbase. And this is very, very important, right? So crypto asset securities, to those assets include Solana token, Cardano's token, and Protocol Labs Filecoin token. We allege that Coinbase, despite being subject to the securities laws, commingled and unlawfully offered exchange, broker-dealer, and clearinghouse functions, Gensler says in that statement. So, I don't know if the list is here in this article, but there are many coins. There's Voyager, there's Chiliz, there is Solana, there is Cardano, Filecoin, and others. Keep that in the back of your head when we are talking about this in a second. But let's see what Brian Armstrong from Coinbase says regarding these allegations, because this is very interesting, and we can remember this actually from the last years here in crypto. So regarding the SEC complaint against us today, we are proud to represent the industry in court to finally get some clarity around crypto rules, because they have sued for clarity of crypto rules, and the SEC has failed to bring these very specific crypto rules. Remember, the SEC reviewed our business and allowed us to become a public company in 2021. Very weird, right? Because why didn't the SEC, when they reviewed the business, just stop that already if what is said in this article is true, that they are basically they call themselves exchanges, but they are commingling a number of functions. How didn't the SEC see this before, right? How didn't the SEC know this in 2021 already and allow them to become a public company? There is no path to come in and register, because that is as a quotation, or he's citing Gary Gensler there, because Gary Gensler said before on camera, yeah, just come in and register. They tried. There is not a way of doing that. We tried repeatedly, so we don't list securities. We reject the vast majority of assets we review. The SEC and CFTC have made conflicting statements and don't even agree on what is a security and what is a commodity. This is why the US Congress is introducing new legislation to fix the situation, and the rest of the world is moving to put clear rules in place to support this technology. So that is also true. So all of these four statements, I fully support them, and I see why they are made by Brian Armstrong here. And it is true in the rest of the world. That's not such a big topic here with regards to altcoins and so on. Why is Gary Gensler in the US going so hard on this market, right? I think there's only the US and then some very small parts of the world, I think, that are moving in that way, that the SEC is doing that. So they are, in my opinion, harming innovation big time. Instead of publishing a clear rule book, the SEC has taken a regulation by enforcement approach that is harming America. So if we need to avail ourselves of the courts to get clarity, so be it. By the way, in case it's not obvious, the Coinbase suit is very different from others out there. The complaint filed against us is exclusively focused on what is or is not a security. And we are confident in our facts and the law. We'll get the job done. In the meantime, let's all keep moving forward and building as industry. America will get this right in the end. So yeah, they're very confident here, putting out the tweets that this all is not going to happen. And I tell you, once these lawsuits come out in any way in favor of crypto, in favor of altcoins, and the list of the real securities is short, then it's on. Then it's so bull run ready. And if that fits together with the money politics of the world, then we are going to see such massive pumps in the market that we are going pretty crazy over it. Let's see, though, before what Gensler has to say here, because this is the newest one from him. Let's watch this quickly together.
We don't need more digital currency. We already have digital currency. It's called the US dollar. It's called the euro. It's called the yen. They're all digital right now. We already have digital investments. And you have entrepreneurs representing digital investments on this program all day long. And it's whether it's the big tech companies, the automobile companies, you name it. It's all digital right now, the investing world. So what is the real underlying value of these tokens? And that's why you need full, fair, and truthful disclosure. We don't need.
Okay, so he basically mentions that the real currencies are the dollar, the yen, and the euro in digital form. So he's referring to CBDCs, central bank central bank digitalized currencies that they want to launch. So there is a speculation right now out there that they are putting out this lawsuit, and right after that they are going to launch the digital dollar. I don't know if that really makes sense, but the speculation is out there. Just want to let you know. But what he's saying here is about the underlying value. So it's so totally weird and doesn't add up at all. All of these seconds that he's blah blahing here is basically he's talking about currencies, but before he has already talked about that all the coins that are currencies are not securities at all. We are going to watch that in a second as well. But yeah, so then he's talking about the underlying value. Why don't you put out clear regulation and let the free market decide what the value of a utility token is, for example, which is not a currency, but so to say, a new way of digitizing value in a specific process, for example, yeah, like VeChain. Okay, so let's look at the next one, because that's the one that I'm referring to. It's only 40 seconds long. Let's watch this all also together, because that is when Gary Gensler is basically talking very differently in 2018.
So we already know in the US and in many other jurisdictions that 3/4 of the market are not ICOs, or not what would be called securities. Even in the US, Canada, and Taiwan, the 3 jurisdictions that follow something similar to the Howey test that we've talked about, 3/4 of the market is non-securities. It's just a commodity, a cash crypto. So you'll hear debates about initial coin offerings and what's a security and what's not a security. Relevant and important debate, but for 3/4 of the market, it's not particularly relevant as a legal matter. So we already know in the US.
Okay, so here he's talking very differently. So for 3/4 of the market, it's not relevant. He's saying what is and is not a security. So as we see here that he was basically teaching what is not a security. And now now my favorite video, the last video that I want to show you here in that matter, is Algorand has been one of the coins that they listed as a security in the lawsuit against against Binance, or in the allegation against Binance. And now listen to this regarding Algorand. That is also super funny. 1 second, guys.
Governance is tough. You could create Uber or Lyft on top of a blockchain technology today. Well, maybe in 5 years you could. It would have the performance. Silvio Micali's Algorand, who's a Turing Award winner at MIT that I work with. Silvio's got a great technology that has the performance. You could create Uber on top of it. The question is then, who would update the software? Governance is tough. You could create Uber or Lyft on top of a blockchain technology today. Well, maybe in 5 years you could. It would have the performance. Silvio Micali's Algorand, who's a Turing Award winner at MIT that I work with. Silvio's got a great technology that has the performance. You could create Uber on top of it. The question is then, who would update the software? Governance is tough. You could create Uber.
Yeah. So he is basically talking here about blockchain technology and the future and Uber and so on. And he says that he has been working with the guy that created Algorand, and he was just a couple of years ago basically promoting these altcoins, the same altcoins that are now subject to the lawsuit. So that is super funny, and we can see that Gary Gensler is just full of shit, you know. So in my opinion, in my opinion, he will not be successful in the dimension in that they are trying to get this out. And there's one more thing, and that's why I said, remember the altcoins that I mentioned in the SEC against Coinbase filing, because Ripple is not named as a security in the SEC's case against Coinbase. So Ripple is the one that they are going after since 2 years and saying that that's a security. Why wouldn't they put this as the flagship currency on the Binance and on the Coinbase suit? Because if they were confident that they are winning this XRP case during this year, then they could put this as the perfect first example of the entire list, accusing and alleging those two exchanges for selling or for offering unregistered securities, because then Ripple would already be so far progressed in that lawsuit that the decision then would make the other lawsuits against Coinbase and Binance more valid. But as we see here, from there, the SEC goes on to name 13 altcoins in a non-exhaustive list, which includes the likes of ADA, Matic, Sol, and others. As I mentioned before, it's also Filecoin, Chiliz, Voyager token, and so on. For the full list, and so we can still look at this later if we want, the curious bit is that the SEC fails to even mention Ripple. There's literally no mention of it. Recall that the SEC also is in the legal battle, the company behind XRP, Ripple, and the agency has claimed that Ripple has conducted an unregistered sale of securities. So if Binance and Coinbase are selling these, then why not accuse them of that as well? It's entirely possible that the SEC has simply missed XRP. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that this is the case. It's not possible, in my opinion, that the SEC would miss that. Otherwise, I mean, what would then be the worth of a list like that, right? But it also leaves the door open for speculation, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I speculate that the SEC knows that they are going to lose the case against XRP. That is what I speculate and derive from all of this, because why did they fight so hard for the Hinman documents not to be opened in that turn of the XRP case? Why did they try to stall and drag out the XRP case into eternity? Why do they not include XRP in that list here? Why do they not want that we can see what the previous director of the SEC, William Hinman, has based his opinion on, saying that Ethereum is not a security? What is the SEC trying to hide here? That is what I'm speculating on. So guys, smash up the like button if you think that XRP is not a security, and if we are going to see the biggest pump ever. Now, let's get to the market reaction to all of this and quickly look at how Bitcoin reacted yesterday. Actually, this is one of the rare cases where we are really going down to the 4-hourly, because usually I think the 4-hourly doesn't hold a lot of value, but here we can basically see how the market reacted to these allegations of the SEC. We had the allegations, the lawsuit of Binance coming out. We plunged. We came right back up to where we were only, let's say, a day later. We have had a shock, and now we have basically the market shrugging that all off. So also the market, the institutional money and the retail investors don't care about this. Actually, they are buying Bitcoin. Now, you could also say that Bitcoin is not in danger of being labeled as a security, but I tell you, Bitcoin would suffer big time if the rest of the crypto market is destroyed, if the rest of the innovation space is destroyed. So I think this would reflect in Bitcoin downside. But as we see here in this short chart, the market doesn't really care for the long run. And we basically had a devastating news, and it didn't really affect the market, which shows us that we are basically, we could have really seller exhaustion here, right? And also what it did is it brought us back into that bull flag here, into that handle that we were forming and talking about all the time. And even with that, the daily candle is a bullish engulfing candle. So we have actually yesterday engulfed this bearish candle that we had before because of the SEC coming out. So as we can see here, we had a little bit of, let's so to say, a fake out. We perfectly tested this trend line that we have above, that we have up here since weeks. Yeah, since the bear market basically, we have this trend line forming, and yeah, so our big coffee, our big crypto morning coffee cup and handle pattern is still in place. So let's take a sip of coffee there for this pattern. So I've been showing this to you a while already. You all know that you are veterans of this channel. So smash up the like button, please, guys. 15 people are in here. I really appreciate you guys doing this with me in the morning, getting up to date, getting up to speed here. Smash the like button for me so that more people can see this live stream, because that is how YouTube gets the live streams out. So we are coming down in this flag, and the only matter that we now have to see is when is this basically handle, when is this broken to the upside, when can we break out? All Chat Gaming bringing the fire to the coffee. So yeah, and it all lines up, so that's why I leave these things in here. And I have marked the Bitcoin bottom here. Yeah, this is the little yellow Bitcoin bottom 2022 a while ago, and also somewhere here I have marked the Bitcoin top 2025. Somewhere here, we will see how this plays out, but we should come at least up here into this range of the Bitcoin top 2025. I hope we overshoot this by a lot, and we will see from morning to morning coffee how we get there, and we will share our experiences here together with that. So I'm really interested to see how this bounce off of this trend line plays out and brings us to the upper band of this bull flag, so to say, that we have here, this massive flag. And actually we can look at how this would play out, because if we take this more or less this range of this flag and say we would break out here, the break of the flag would not make us break the resistance. The target is actually only to retest. If we were to break out right now, we would perfectly retest that upper line. But then when we retest that, we would form our perfect handle here. And that's where massive whale traders would be speculating on a breakout for Bitcoin, and then the next price target, and this can take a while, right? This can take until late August or so that we are really coming up for that, right? We could just slope up here slowly, so it doesn't have to be here. It can be in late August that we really conclude this breakout retest and boom, going out to the target of this, if I remember correctly, would be at the best like 50-something thousand of this cup and handle. So let's see if we are accurate with this, right? And then if we are, then we are going to celebrate because hopefully until then we have a little bit more packed our bags. If Bitcoin breaks out here and altcoin market bleeds, I will stack up on the altcoins. I'm still looking for that, because this is the phase where Bitcoin is rallying and altcoins are bleeding. And I like that phase, or I will like that phase to stack a little bit more of the Bitcoin. Let's also talk a little bit, just refresh this here, about the DXY. We have seen that the DXY seems to be forming a lower high here. Seems to be forming a lower high on the charts, and that would also play right into the cards. As you all know, the DXY is the value of the dollar measured against other currencies in the world. If the dollar value drops, Bitcoin and risk on assets are rallying. And that's what we saw here. We pumped and now we corrected. So it's always inverse to the dollar value. And now the dollar value is trying to cling on here. It's probably also trying to see, or we are going to react with the next rate hike or not rate hike event. And if we were to probably not rate hike, maybe we can also already drop down here for the dollar. But we could see something like here, a little bit of a choppy phase before we come back down. So that is what we want to see. We want the dollar value to collapse, and then we have our next big Bitcoin pump. So for now, not clear, because we also could come up, coil up here and actually rally more. And that is something where I have told you that would be something that could be devastating. So we need to be very, very careful right now with our investments still and look what's really happening, because as you saw here, that could be a double bottom then, and then we could continue actually with the overall, with the broader picture of the dollar gaining more strength. But to be honest, the likelihood of that happening is very low, because as you see here from the break of this trend line, yes, we could have more upside, but overall the trend now is bearish for the dollar, which means the trend for Bitcoin should be bullish. So what I expect to happen is that we somehow build up this, maybe a little bit of not getting through here, come up, retest, boom, and then we go. So we will see if that plays out that way. Let's talk about NFTs and Veve, because Veve has teased the WWDC Apple promotional video for the VR goggles, and in my opinion that is a bullish sign, but we have to put it into perspective. In yesterday's live stream we have watched together this trailer and we have talked about the possible implications. If you didn't see it yet, then you can go back to the last live stream and you will find the timestamps right now. They are already there to get to the interesting parts of the live stream that are interesting for you. So we have looked at this. We see that Apple's improvement or Apple's innovation there is very bullish, but Veve is now basically coming out and retweeting that, and people like that a lot. People are excited about this. So bullish on the future. Will Veve have an app on their Vision Pro store? And that's exactly the right question. I think they will. I think Veve will put out an app for that. Maybe this could be how we get into the Veveverse or so. I don't know. But in general, in terms of what they are saying, it's bullish. But we also have to see Veve's history of I wouldn't say, maybe gaslighting is a little bit hard of a word, but I think it somehow is true. And Veve has a history of teasing and making promises to also things that did not yet come to the app, right? So one example for that is this one. Actually, it's not directly Veve, it's Ecomi, but at the time they were so close together that you could see them as one. And then that was, let's see the date, that was October 3, 2018, when Ecomi hinted at Pokemon. 20 years ago, Pokemon was introduced to the Western world. It is now the highest grossing brand intellectual property in the world. Did you know the man responsible for that is the head of licensing at Ecomi? So at the time, Veve and Ecomi was the same. So you see that we didn't we don't have Pokemon yet on the app. Maybe we are getting it. Maybe they only wanted to say that the guy that made this big and possible is also the head of licensing. But with regards to that, posts like this, in my opinion, we have to put into perspective. So that is what I will do, at least with regards to Veve posting this stuff. Let me know what you think. Is Veve posting about the Apple glasses a big thing or not? Is it something important or not? Then we also have some drops coming up here. We have the Donald Duck Avenger drop. So Disney is trying to make a little bit of relations to their other brands, to the Avengers, obviously here with the comics. This comic is not very valuable in the real world, so only $50, and some of the covers only $15, but everyone who likes to read this stuff could maybe grab one from the secondary market there, or if you're bullish on the future of this comic, or future value of this comic, then you can also consider grabbing it right on the drop, maybe gambling on a secret rare. And then also we have this one here, the first appearance of SPDR, Edge of Spider-Verse number 5, features exclusive Veve exclusive covers. Honestly, I don't know what this is. I'm not super big fan, but this also is coming out as a comic, so we see that there are a lot of there are a lot of comics coming to Veve still. When will international transactions be available? And then Veve is referring to, so they are getting asked all the time now about the international cash out. I don't know why it's taking so long for them to implement that. I don't know if they want to try to, or if they want to stabilize prices by that. With regards to payout, the latest update is we are midway through dev on provisioning alternate methods for payout and expect completion in the near future. We acknowledge and share the frustrations around this topic and are working diligently to restore this capability as soon as possible. Thank you for your continued patience. This is from the 2nd of June, so already 5 days ago. It's just me says, in the near future is the new soon. And Kay says, we were told the reason why payout took such a long time and had all those delays the first time round was because of MTL weight, and also because it was being built to allow switching of providers quickly should Veve ever go down to that route. Why is there all the extra dev work? That is a very good question. I don't know if that has anything to do with crypto cash in, crypto cash out. It was already there. It's not. It doesn't have to do anything with wire. So we will see that. So people don't want to see other improvements. People want to have cash out so that you know the cash that you put in can also come out on the other side. And obviously it is not, for investors, it's also not a good look, because if you cannot trust that there will be payout in all of the world, then why would you put more money into the app if you are not sure that they are bringing this back, right, for all of the countries? We remember this when payout first launched. There were just suddenly a list of countries where payout was not implemented at all. So that is very unfortunate for the people that are living there and have basically put in thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't know if you can technically, if you have a very massive vault, switch countries and then cash out there or something like that. But in general, crypto cash out has to work for each and every country, in my opinion. So yeah, that's basically it for today. Thank you all for joining my live stream here. Caro is coming on. I should really consider doing these streams a little bit later, right? because many people are coming on right when I have the when I'm at the end of that live stream. Welcome to the stream though. But I'm trying to put the stream a little bit later, starting a little bit later, so that more people can be together live. Maybe I start at 15 minutes later than usually. I hope that works out with all the time. I will see if I can make that possible. But anyways, don't forget to smash up the like button on your way out. And if you watch that later, let me know in the comments below what you think about all of the topics that we have discussed so far, and about the future of the altcoin and Bitcoin market. I would say wherever you are on the world. Wait 1 second. There is one question coming in. Why would people put more money in if they can't cash out? For all the public complaining they'll get to do, of course. Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm also very hesitant with money into Veve right now. I have a big stack. I hope that it plays out all good. And yeah, Motili says, thank you, see you later. Yeah, hopefully to see you all later. So wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and see you in tomorrow is a holiday day, so I'm not sure if it will be the same time, but see you in tomorrow's crypto.